So let it be written. So let it be done.
What we have here, folks, this part right here that we brought up with Dinero that you need to get is Dinero is a governance token. And the reason I play that Swift blockchain conversation, yes, I have a mini series I'm doing about it, but the bigger conversation is during the time frame I was doing a billionaire blueprint. Swift token, Swift coin is also a governance token or coin, whatever you want to call it, for Swift blockchain. Plume acquired Dinero, and this is about their governance token, right? But what does the project do? Liquid staking. What I found was the same thing happened when I researched Swift. I found a project that does liquid staking called EigenLayer. Puffer Finance was one that also built off of EigenLayer, and we'll talk about these associations. Now, what did I find that was interesting that connects even to this today? What I found was that the money trail, as I went down the money trail for Swift coin in this particular video, I found other tokens along the path of the money. And do you know why? The reason I found these other tokens is because it takes a multifaceted approach. We're not talking about retail investors here, folks. We're talking about people who have hedge funds, trillions of dollars. We're talking about people who hire people for 6 and 7 figures to evaluate markets. They evaluate potential. They do due diligence to make sure that as they invest into a company, they're not investing in tokens. That's what we do. That's where we make mistakes because we assume that people invest in tokens like we invest in tokens, but they don't. They invest in networks. This is how it works. And then I'm going to continue with what this Dinero is talking about. The way it happens is this. A company like Plume is eating up all the RWAs, but there's a lot of them. Plume ultimately doesn't even want to be in the business of RWA. Now, let me tell you, make sure I say that right. Ultimately, Chris Yin, the CEO of Plume, has said publicly that RWAs will all die, which is kind of ironic since he runs the biggest RWA there is. So why would they run the biggest RWA and then say RWAs must die? Well, he gave clarification on that. What he meant by that is we put this into categories and groups because that's the limit of our association with finances. Our financial literacy we have as investors kind of shifted to a place where we are tribal. You heard it before. You're probably guilty of it yourself, right? Hey guys, y'all see this project? This project is going to be the one that everybody uses. Nobody's going to use nothing else. Nope, that's it. Just this project. Then other people were like, yep, no, that's not it. Everybody's going to use this project. Nope, nobody else is going to use any other projects. It's cute. Almost makes you have a warm and fuzzy inside. But that's not reality. That's not logical. You know why it's not logical? Because money talks. Money talks. And know what money says? Money says, hello? Hey, CEO. I'm CEO. I got the thing. You got the thing. Together, we both got a thing. If we put our thing together, we can get more money from everybody. So how about we use our networks and expand the things that we have in order to make our investors and institutional investors more money? Ultimately, at the end of the day, these institutions work for the people they have a fiduciary responsibility to. Now, how's that connected to Dinero? Plume strategically chose to get a particular project called Dinero. And this is in liquid staking. Now, as we saw in an announcement, this is not just about liquid staking in Bitcoin, it's Solana, it's institutional staking. So Plume has already told you that they look at stable coins, they look at this project as a means to gather value and to stake that value so that institutions can utilize this. Now, look at the particular ones they have. Let's see if you see a trend here. Dinero is the name of the project, but don't be confused. Plume is the name of the project, but don't keep your eyes off of the prize. Look at the three that they mentioned in their own announcement. First, Solana, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Why have you seen this before? This is not the first time you've heard of Solana. In fact, 4 years ago, Solana was around 50 cents. Now it's in the hundreds of dollars. Solana ETFs, have you heard of those yet? Bitcoin ETFs, have you heard of those yet? Ethereum ETFs, have you heard of that yet? Let's keep going. What did we find out? Plume did what? They got a SEC verification that they can be a transfer agent in this space. So if you think about it, BlackRock Build, which is Build tokens, is based off of 7 cryptocurrencies. We got Aptos, we got Arcanium, we got Solana. No, I take that back. No Solana. We got Polygon. We got a few other ones. Can't think of all of them off the top of my head, but you get the point. Now, these 7 that I just talked to you about create that product called Build, and you cannot touch it. You can't. If you are a retail investor, it's not for you. So if you listen to what they said here, if you pay attention and read between the lines, this deal with Dinero expands Solana, Bitcoin, and Ethereum for institutional staking and yield products. They didn't say retail. Why does that matter to you? Well, this is why it matters. If you want your tokens to grow, or if you want to speculate that your tokens will grow, because we never know, we're not, if we was able to tell you exactly when things go up and go down, we would be gazillionaires, right? The reality is all of it is speculation, some more than more, some more than less, right? This is what they're saying. If Plume has just become the first again to be a project that is a transfer agent in the cryptocurrency space by the SEC, they are at first in the space in RWAs. They acquired this company called Dinero, and they just came out a few months ago. Dinero does liquid staking, and they got 3 major ones: Solana, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Your speculation has to be, if a company like BlackRock or Grayscale, we need to start talking about Grayscale, Hampton Land, Blackstone. We got to start talking about other ones other than BlackRock. That's all I want us to expand our logic. These other ones got money too. If these companies go to Plume and they say, hey, Plume, I have a product like Grayscale does, and I want to get my product out there. I know we're considering you to help us with this piece. So are you ready right now? Are you ready to go right this second? We got money that we want to make. Plume can say yes. Okay, how do you want to make that money? What products we want to offer? We're going to tell you, Plume. This is what we're going to tell you. All we want you to do is transfer. You don't tell us how we're going to run our business. You just transfer it to the places we want. Plume's ready to do it. And what we're going to do, Plume, we're going to do staking tokens. We're going to stake and make an ETF so we can give exposure for Ethereum. We're going to do the same thing for Bitcoin, and we're also going to do the same thing for Solana. All you need to do is your part. You charge your fees, we'll pay that managing fees, but that's how we're going to make money. Plume is ready. So the more total lock value goes into that product, and the more institutional investors, I want to make sure I stress that, the more money it makes. That is what we're looking at here. Now, let me continue with this announcement because I want to make sure I get it all for you. What you need to know is this. As you look at this, the LST liquid staking tokens, normally, as I said, normally you would take the stake. If you stake ETH or SOL to help secure the network, your tokens get locked up. Now, while liquid staking, you get a receipt token, LST, that you can still use elsewhere in crypto while your original tokens keep earning rewards. Example, stake 1 ETH, get back 1 staked ETH token, like STETH, that you could trade, lend, or use in DeFi. Benefit, you earn staking rewards and keep your tokens flexible for other opportunities. Now, let me put that on here because I know y'all heard me. Listen, I don't know if you truly are grasping how big this is. Maybe I should do one of those situations like other people do. They're like hype stuff up, and they just say whatever random. If I put a rocket ship up there, would that make it more magnificent? I don't know if you heard what it said. Listen to it. Let me put it up one more time. I'm going to read it out. Look at this, folks. Listen to it. Here's an example of how this works for institutions. Forget about us right now. Stake an ETH. Get back 1 staked ETH. Now, you can trade it. You can lend it. You can use it in DeFi. You earn rewards and keep your tokens flexible for other opportunities. Imagine going to the bank and it's payday. And you go into the bank and you said, "Dear bank, I have money in the account. I got a $2,000 paycheck. Bank, I have things I want to do with it. I want to go on trips. I want to buy something. I want to do stuff with it. But I don't want to spend my money, bank. No, I don't want to spend my money. Bank, how can I use this money without using this money? See, I want to come back to you, bank, and you give me back the money that's in here, and I still want to use it." Now, if I said that to my bank right now, they would call the police. Not the police, but the police. They would call the police on me, and they're saying, underdog researcher came to the bank, and he said he wanted the money, and he didn't want to spend it, but he wanted to use this money, and he's lost it. But that's not what they're doing here. They call it looping. What they're doing is looping their money. They're saying, I have $2,000 in the bank. The bank says to you, okay, Mr. Person or Mrs. Person, this is what we'll do. We're going to take your money, and we're going to put it in this space in the bank. And you can get access to it, never leave. We're going to give you an equivalent value. If you put $1,000 in this particular space in the bank, we'll give you back $1,000, but it's going to say bank of stake. All right, whatever bank you have, and that you can go to any place that take those, and you can borrow against it. If it's $1,000, you can borrow whatever somebody else will let you borrow within our ecosystem, within that network of people who will use that. You can lend it to other people. You can stake it again. Somebody else says, hey, we'll take $500 of that and we'll give you back 30% on your $500. You can do that. You can lend it out, whatever you want to do. And when you finish doing what you want to do, all you got to do is come back to us and you give us back what you have. You cash it in, right? Like a token at a casino. And we'll give you back the money you put in that special little space in the bank. Plus, you made up all this other money, and your money was making money. Now, that's what I call institutional investing. Exposure to crypto without having to hold the tokens in a little wallet. Exposure to the ups and downs of the market. And you always get the upside, because if it goes down, you still got your 1-for-1. If it's a stable like coin, this is a huge way of making money. So that's what we're talking about here. Now, with this being said, this is further on the announcement. Why this could be bullish. I'll put this here for you to read. Institutional rails, institutions, big banks, funds, corporations need compliant ways to access staking. Plume and Dinero creates that infrastructure. The SEC approval, Plume is now officially recognized as a transfer agent. This is a green light to handle tokenized securities, a major U.S. regulatory step. Corporate inflows coming. Deloitte's 2025 CFO survey showed that 23 to 39% of large firms may allocate corporate treasuries into crypto in the next 2 years. That means potentially hundreds of billions flowing in. Woo! I don't know about you, but this just reading what I wrote makes me feel some type of way. I even put a rocket ship. I look at that, guys. I put a rocket ship right there for you. I put a rocket ship, so I got to be shilling it then. I'm shilling the facts that's researchable, that this acquisition of Dinero for Plume, if you see it, you can't unsee it. You see the power of it.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Oh my God.
The juices will get.